So The Great Director. Okay, it's a 16.5 minute short film. I know that we had mentioned, if I didn't mention it, shot on 35mm film. The very first subject I want to talk about here is the budget. As I understand it, it was approximately $1,500. Now, for a student filmmaker, that's not a small chunk of change for you. So what was your go-to secret? Is it self-funded? Did you get help? How did you come up with that?
Well, so
Ah,
Mom over here, yes.
there there's a it's sort of a combination of, as I mentioned before, just trying to be creative in how
sure.
we find things whenever possible. So try to avoid locations we'd need to pay for whenever
Yeah.
possible. Uh, let's call it guerrilla catering. Meaning stopping by the grocery store now and and grabbing like some sandwiches.
Ah.
Um, like all these things where just like try and like I said before, just use what is available as best as possible. But
Sure.
also I would not at all be able to make these kinds of films if it weren't for the support of my parents, which I am
Absolutely.
deeply grateful for. And we talked about this just now with my granddad and yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we're also we're lucky that my husband is a cinema lover and loves to do
Ah,
cinematography. So,
okay.
he owns the 35mm camera, so we
Ah,
don't have equipment rental on that. And Kodak loves to support young makers who want to work on analog. So
ah,
or even just any filmmaker who's interested in shooting film. If
Mm.
you've ever thought, I would like to shoot on film, but I don't think I can afford it,
yeah,
just contact Kodak Motion Picture in LA and just tell them what your idea is. And, they often, when they go through a budget with you, they have people who will help you go through your budget. And it's
nice.
really surprising a lot of times where it doesn't actually cost more if you figure in all the post-production work that you save.
Sure, I get you.
So yeah, we were helped by Kodak because they like to support young filmmakers who are working in film, and we owned the equipment, so that's how we could get by on that budget.
I love it. That's terrific. Now, I'm guessing along the budgetary line there, I see notice the same people are cast. The last movie that I screened, surprise! A lot of the same ones had returned. So again, is that a budgetary choice or have you just become comfortable in terms of we can get on set, we can do our job faster? Is it a combination of both?
So as far as budget goes when it comes to the actors just all agreed to do it just unpaid.
Sure.
We try our best, and this is part of the reason why they agree, to make sure that it's not that we can try and get, so like a lot of the actors are also like personal family.
Right.
Uh, that's also we always need to do like multiple roles each. People like myself and my mom, my brother also plays a role, as we mentioned earlier. And then the people
Yes.
who are more actual, actual actors, we try our best to like try and accommodate for their schedules as well.
Yeah.
Also, just once you have worked with someone, it's that combination of number one, just having contact to them. So you know that they are good. And so for example, Jeff Book,
Yeah.
from The Holding Room, I was amazed. I loved his performance so much as the main character in that film, uh, that when we were thinking about who to cast as this one character who wasn't going to have a lot of lines but needed to have a lot of presence in those lines,
Okay.
my first thought was, oh, let's get Jeff. Let's ask if Jeff can do it. Yeah, so it's just that combination of like getting used to each other, knowing you can rely on people, and having contact to them.
Oh, you betcha. The other thing I want to ask about the inner monologue. I'm sure everybody wants to know how did you come to that? Meaning the person that you picked was perfectly, and he has such good vocal range. I'm like, how did that happen?
So the inner monologue was inspired actually by a video game called the Stanley Parable.
Okay.
And we actually spent quite a while, if I remember right, looking through different people who like different options. And
Yes,
there was even I forgot how many days we spent during which it was just like listening to like these samples of like this guy and that guy.
sure.
And eventually I forgot what exact it's sorry, it's been a while now, but I forgot what exactly was
Sorry.
like the tipping. No problem at all. But I forgot what exactly was like the tipping factor in our
Yeah,
choice. But I do think that like you mentioned like the vocal, like the range that he has was
yeah,
really one of the aspects that was really important for us, especially because he has to pull off that like grandioseness to the point of being comedic in just
yeah.
how like overly dramatic it is, but then also have those moments of sort of um insulted that his drama is not being reflected in the actual happenings in the film.
Very similar to all of our subconscious, kind of like you want to do this, you don't want to do this. It's like it's
Yeah.
always everyone has that voice in their head, and he just matches it so perfectly, and it's so
Mm,
set to the story, which I was so impressed with.
absolutely.
Now, Charlie's role, aka Charisse. So, are we to the point, do you think, where basically mom doesn't need the direction and she finds her own character, or did you still feel like you wanted to interject certain elements here to her before she portrayed it?
So wait, who is this question directed towards?
Well,
Me?
your mom's character is Charlie, yes? So either
Yes.
one of you, I guess I'm curious because, when you work together, obviously your family members as well, you have a good flow going. And so,
Yeah.
Charisse, did you build the character on your own, or did you kind of take where Sam gave you all this input and said, this is kind of what I want to see happen here?
Well, we weren't actually sure I was gonna play Charlie from the beginning.
Okay,
I did help with the script, and so I knew what the character was, and we were seeing if we could find somebody else who would be more appropriate, but
sure.
and we didn't have anybody better. So
Ah,
there
aha.
I'm kind of the fallback,
You
the
did
fallback middle-aged
There
person.
it is.
very
Okay.
well.
um and so, but yeah, since I'd also helped with the script writing, we had already talked pretty much in depth
Mm.
about what Charlie's arc was going to be, and what her role was in, pushing things along in certain scenes. So I think when we actually came down to filming, we didn't need to do a lot of that because I'd already been a part of the process from the start.
You
It's
betcha.
also it's somewhat practical though. I'm sure this is an annoying habit of mine to the people around me, but I have a habit of when I'm really like when I'm really like thinking of when I'm in like the creation stage of like a project, I'll start ranting about like whatever I'm thinking about, whatever aspect of it is,
Yeah,
to like whoever is closest. And a lot of times this winds up being my mom. So she, even before we started like looking at actually executing it, she
sure.
had already heard plenty of rants about the different characters
I
and the
bet.
flow of the story.
Sure. I understand. I get it. And the story itself, that's just it. There's different it it flows so nicely. First of all, when we first start watching it, we think to ourselves, okay, this guy's on top, this young little man knows what he's doing. We very quickly find out, of course, that maybe just maybe he's not quite as much or where he needs to be. But of course, his brain has a lot to do with this. And so myself and some of the judges, one of the things that we took away from this is besides the obvious ADHD factor to this, it's not allowing your brain to be the controlling force when it comes to creativity or otherwise. You really do kind of
Mm.
have to say, no, I'm going to let my passion override everything else. I'm going to let my intuition be my guide, and I'm going to follow what I want to do. And I love the line where it was just the film anything. I've said that repeatedly over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be great. Doesn't have to take all year to do it. Just film something because that's what it means. And I understand this is a personal project to you, Sam. As far as on the ADHD side, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm so highly ADHD, it's destructive. I'm like, sometimes I get in my own way, usually three,
Know
four times
that.
a day. So when you did the film, besides these resounding themes, what is the one takeaway? Like, for instance, if you want someone to watch this, yes, it's funny and it's got dry humor and it's well put together, but what is the main one point? What do we need to remember most here?
To not let I guess the not pressure yourself to think that you need to do things for the sake of, I guess, greatness,
Yes.
and do things because you love them. It's like you were saying, you were putting it in terms of like, I think you're saying like the brain versus like intuition.
Yes.
I was thinking of it sort of along similar but slightly different lines, more along the lines of I'm trying to figure out how I can best describe it because I was struggling to put this into words even when like trying to write the script.
Oh,
But
really?
one of the big themes, I mean, that's why I make a lot of films, is when I can't put something into
Sure.
words, I
Yes.
try to make a film to communicate it.
I get
Uh,
it.
my very first short film was the same thing, just like these emotions I didn't know how to describe. So I
Yes.
tried to make a film that would make people kind of feel what I was trying to describe.
Mhm.
But in this case, I guess because the main character in this film, right? This is somebody who has a love for filmmaking, but he's almost forgotten that he actually likes doing it in the first place.
Yes.
And it's just become this self kind of this idea that he's thrust onto himself of destiny,
Yeah.
where he needs to be a movie character, this savant who he can't afford to make anything less than perfect because that
Right.
would ruin the flow of the story that he thinks he's in.
Sure.
Um, and so the message of the film is to basically not care about that. And if you love doing something, then just do it because you love it.
Yes. That's perfect. You actually did quite well with that, Sam, I have to say.
I spent a long time struggling trying to put it into words.
I
So
bet you
if I
did.
still struggled with it now, then
Well, and plus, if I can just add to the whole ADHD thing, I think there really is a stigma around a lot of us, meaning that someone who's ADHD, they just automatically assume, your brain is going a million miles at a time. And yes, that is true for some of us, actually a lot of us, but all of those pointers that you put at the very end of the film, things for people to watch and to remember when they're dealing with other people who are suffering from this. It's not just as black and white as one or two things, which is what I like about the end of the film, and you showcase that. I also love the way you tell us to get out of the theater. The movie's all done. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm like, that was a lovely sort of little thing there. Um, as far as great director, where is it headed next now that it's been here and it's live?
well, I mean it's
Distribution right away? Sorry, I was just being hopeful.
Well, it's going to be shown in Bath, England in a couple of weeks. Then the
there,
Nice.
German,
there are still
yeah,
festivals, yeah.
yeah,
There
Oh,
German
okay. That's what I was saying. Like, if
festivals
somebody didn't
for-
see it here, can they see it somewhere
oh
else?
yeah, there are going to be other festivals. Unfortunately, I can't actually name
Or maybe
them.
there's a website we could see, or they can take a look down the road if they want to see it.
Yeah, there's the
Eventually.
So we have
When
nothing,
it's done with the
folks. We just
festival
have
run.
nothing.
right. No, Pink Seal Productions is the
Yes.
YouTube channel, but that's
Yes.
yeah,
It's not up
up
there
there.
yet because
I
of
get
it's
it.
still not done with the festival run. And a lot of the festivals, I mean, yeah, they don't want it to be up on YouTube yet when they show it.
I totally understand. I'm just looking right now to see the full list I have right in front of me of nominations for absolutely everyone. Um, and I overlooked all of these. And I'm so pleasantly not surprised to say that yes, you are nominated for Best Youth Film at Art is Alive Film Festival.
Awesome.
Congratulations to that. I'm not surprised at all, Sam. You are just a wonderful talent. You have a beautiful support system. You have a great way of making films, and you do it so expressively and so inspirationally, especially because you're so young. You have a lot to say to a lot of people. So please don't stop making movies. I think you're just phenomenal.
I have no intention of stopping anytime soon.
Yes, that's what we like to hear at Art is Alive. Awesome. Let me just stop this.